There's a Gemara that talks about the 7 different types of heavens, okay? And each heaven is responsible for a different part of Tzva Shemayim. There we go. First, I'm Rabbi Huda. Shnei Rakim Haim, and of course, we got into this because last time we had a whole discussion which was created first. Bereshis bara Elokim es Shemaim v'Aretz, Shemaim and then Eretz, and then it says in Bereshis Perek Beis, Biyom bara Hashem Elokim Eretz v'Shemaim, which came first Eretz before Shemaim, Shemaim before Eretz, where they create together. Did God contemplate one and put them together afterwards? So and so forth and so on. So we're talking about Shemaim, talking about Eretz. So now we're trying to talk about what is that, and then talks about the Rakia, talks about the Rakia, separating the waters above the land, below the land. So what exactly is the Rakia, and how many heavens are there? So Rabbi Yehuda says Shnei Rakim Haim. There are 2 Rakiyas. Shneimar Hein Lashem Elokecha Hashemayim Ushmei Hashemayim. Okay. So pasuk says in Dvarim, the heavens and the heavens of the heavens, as if to say over the heavens there is another heaven. Shmei Shemayim. Shemayim shel Shemayim. Yesh Shemayim. Hein Hashem Elokecha Shemayim. V'Shemayim shel Shemayim. Okay? Yeah. So therefore, according to Rabbi Yehuda, there are 2. Rish Lakish Amar Shiva. Rabbi Rish Lakish says there are 7. And the whole thing we're going to do today is to talk about what are the 7 heavens that there are. Okay? So, to kind of help us go through this, I'm going to give you a chart. Chart's in Hebrew.
Chart's always helpful.
This chart is actually very helpful. Let's just kind of...
How do you here's another King James word.
I'm not sure I broke it up well.
Rakia we translate firmament. That's not a King James word. What does it mean?
That's King James?
What does it mean?
It means something that's firm. And
so you'll see that Rakia is one of the heavens, okay?
Okay.
So in the middle of the page is the chart we're going to work with. It's just going to keep us honest, to remind us where we are, because you'll see this it's a very long piece, and it talks about the different parts of the 7 heavens, and we'll support each one with psukim. So if you really want to remember where you are, this chart in the middle has the 7 and what each of the 7 are. Some of them are more physical, some of them seem to hold spiritual beings like the angels. So Amar Rish Lakish Amar Shiva Ve'Elohein. Here are the 7. First one is Vilon. Okay, so Vilon is Vilon. Well, listen. Vilon, Rakia, Shchakim, Zvul, Ma'on, Machon, Aravot. These are the 7, and of course they correspond to the 7-year chart. What is Vilon? So Vilon Eino Mishamish Klum. Vilon is simply like a curtain. It doesn't really have a purpose to hold anything. It's more obscures. Elonichna shachris v'yotze arvis. It allows. It comes in the morning when the sun comes, and when the sun goes down, it leaves. Umachadish b'chol yom maseh breshis. And as a result, it's like a refresher. It's like a change of scenery. Like it's refreshing the scenery in a play. Shenemar hanogtek hadok shamayim vayim tochem ka'ohel lasheves. Okay, so HaKadosh Baruch Hu puts up and kadok shamayim, not sure what it means, vayim tochem, and makes them set ka'ohel lasheves, like a tent to sit under or sit with. So once again, there is a shamayim that does very little except to hold things up there, and that's really what the Vilon is.
Can we say it's clouds, or we can't give any physical to anything?
Well, the clouds are there at night too, aren't they?
Yeah.
A lot of things. Yeah. We can't give any physical to this.
This must be a curtain that opens up maybe in the morning so the sun can come through.
We can't put any physical connections to this, can we?
Right. Think of it as a stage light or something, or a curtain.
Curtain going up in the stage.
You know what? Think of it. I guess you could say like you will lower your blinds and raise your blinds.
Okay.
In the morning you open the blinds, the sun comes in, and you lower the blinds in the evening.
Okay.
Or you may have like a gauzy kind of curtain that goes behind the curtain, like a liner. What does the liner really do? I don't know.
Okay.
So it's hard really to make sense of all this, because it's hard to get physical because you can't. Okay. So
does he have a pasuk for each one of these guys?
Yeah, he's got a pasuk for each one of these, and we can look up what each one is. So the chart kind of gives you the 7 without the psukim, and the Gemara is going to be complicated because it gives all the psukim. So the first one is Vilon, and it's like a curtain. Think of Vilon means a curtain.
Vilon means curtain.
Okay. So the next one is Rakia. The second is Rukia. Shebo Chamo Ulavana Kochavim Umazalot Kvuim. That's where the sun and the moon and the planets all reside, and that's and the Mazalot, of course, the constellations, which Chazal, once again, Chazal, of course, believe that these all had powers, and they all were animate. That's really what the whole Keladon that you sing on Shabbat is.
Ibn Ezra was a big proponent of this stuff.
Yeah. Okay, that's why they believed that there was a power in each star. Star was not simply inanimate explosions. Star had a certain power, and the constellations themselves had certain powers, right? And
if you're under the influence of a certain constellation or whatever,
you're stuck.
It meant something different.
Correct. How the constellation you're born under will determine what you are. That within that's your mazel, right? Even though we're saying mazel Yisrael.
Right.
For example, if you're born
which point of view do we?
So I don't know. I think it may come up here where someone said he was born under Mars and he became, I don't know, sheikhet. He'd be sheikhet or a murderer. So one of the sheikhet or a moil or a murderer, something to do with blood.
Mars is blood.
Right. So as a result, you're limited, but within the limits, you have a certain amount of free will. Okay? Look, nobody here, except maybe one person, no one here is going to become a nuclear scientist. Okay?
Me neither.
Right? We have free will, but there's certain limits what we can do. So but this is the closest that we can come to understanding physically what the heavens are, right? As it says, and this goes back to Bereshis, it's probably the entree to the whole Gemara. Vayteno samalakim b'rukia shamayim. God, this is in the creation story. God puts the sun, the moon, and the stars in Rakia Shemayim, the Rakia of the Shemayim, because Shemayim can mean many things. Sure. So there's the Rakia of the Shemayim, and that's the second one of the seven. Okay, the third is Shchakim. Okay, Shebo Rechaim Omdot V'Tochanot Mon Tzadikim. So in the third heaven, which is, I don't know if this means higher or spiritual or whatever really it is. Let's say it's a higher level of heaven. They are producing mon continually for the tzadikim that they will get in the future world to come. And Shinemar Vaytzav Shchakim Imal. V'dalsei shamayim pasach vayamter alehem man lechal. So the pasuk from Tehillim, and sometimes Tehillim refracts the story of the Exodus, and it says, "Hakadosh Baruch Hu commanded shchakim above, and opened the doors of the heaven and rained the man down upon them." So the man is coming out of some part of the heavens called shchakim. Okay, Zvul. Now we have the fourth one, which is called Zvul. Shebo Yerushalayim Beis Hamikdash uMizbeach Banoi. Okay, uMichal Hasar Gadol Omeid Makriv Olav Karban. So the heavenly Jerusalem, right? Which of course we have Jerusalem here, but this is opposite Yerushalayim Shamala. There's a heavenly Yerushalayim that is exactly opposite the mirror image of the Yerushalayim of here, and the Beis Hamikdash, of course. Which will come down magically when Mashiach comes and is here, right? Umizbeach, and there is this Mizbeach that is up there as well, waiting to come down. And there's Michal Hatzar Tzagadol Omeid Makriv El Karban. Michal is bringing karbanos, or a karban, on this Shenemar, as it says in Lachim Aleph, but this is Shlomo Bano Banisi Beit Zvul Lecha Machol Neshivtecha Olamim. So Shlomo says, I built for you a house of Zvul, to you, Machon, once again, it's a repository for you to reside in forever. Now that's Shlomo. How do you know Minolan Dikrei Shemayim? How do you know that Zvul is part of Shemayim? Because here Zvul refers to Shlomo building the Beis Hamikdash. It's here.
Yeah, I was going to ask Zvul.
What's its...
I don't know how it's... Where's Briggs?
I don't have it in front of me.
Okay.
Got to look up.
Zavol, no, you need a Jastro, because it's only biblical Hebrew.
This is biblical Hebrew.
Oh, Zavol, I can get back to you next week.
So nobody sees Zvul. How does Mr. Smart School translate Zvul?
I don't know if he does it. Sometimes it's...
I have Google Translate here.
What do they translate? If it's in Hebrew, he doesn't translate.
What does Art School translate? Zvul. They call it Zvul?
Just a second here. They say... Zvul, residence.
Residence, okay. So what's Machon? Also maybe something else.
It says BAYT Zvul, right? Baniti BAYT Zvul, so it must be a house of residence, I guess.
You sure Zvul is residence?
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
says.
Okay. No,
It says
okay.
it could be house of residence, yeah.
Okay.
Place of residence.
Okay, and Zvul, Zion.
It's certainly an unusual word, that's for sure.
Where's the Zion?
Reb Shlokim Ma'on Zvul.
Zion.
Okay.
Sorry, back. Lamed.
Lamed.
Okay,
It
well,
doesn't, here doesn't, mine doesn't have a vowel, by the way.
Zvul, fertilizing.
Yeah,
That's
Zevel.
Zevel.
That's
That's Zevel.
That's Zevel.
Yeah, I was still talking about it.
Yeah, that's Zevel.
That's me too.
Sorry,
So
it says-
No, it's
But it
okay.
can't be.
Zevel
That's
is
first is something very
fertilizer.
That's what Google Translate says.
No, but yeah,
Zvul.
that's not Zvul, that's Zevel.
Zevel.
so it
Actually,
refers
it's
to,
the
so
Zibul. The Zibul.
It's the same short. It's the same.
probably the same shorish. It means it's something very rich. It makes it fruitful.
Residence, according to Art Scroll.
Okay. All right. So
Clearly he wasn't talking about
right.
fertilizers.
Now, but the bottom line is when Shlomo refers to it, he's referring to a residence for HaKadosh Baruch Hu in the Beis
It
Mikdash.
says BAYT Zvul, that's
Right,
it.
I built for you a house of Zvul, a place for you to reside forever. But how do you know it now relates to heaven? So
Right.
we know in the Krishma, Nechsiv, Habei Mishamayim Uri'eh, Mizvul Kadshecha V'Tefartecha. Okay, so this is this is Yeshaya speaking. Look down from heavens and look from the Zvul, your holy Zvul, and your magnificent Zvul. Your magnificence, look down upon us. So, as if to say, HaKadosh Baruch Hu doesn't only reside in the Beis Hamikdash, the physical temple of Solomon, but also lives and exists in his own Zvul, which is opposite, therefore, where the Beis Hamikdash was here. Okay, it's all very difficult. Now, so we have what? We have Vilon, Rakia, Shkakim, and Zvul.
Right.
Now Ma'on.
Abode.
Abode. These are all, I mean, they're all going to be related.
Different
good.
types of words.
Good.
Same thing.
Well, maybe it has different houses, that's the idea.
Well, different levels. Ma'on Shabo Kitot Shemalacheh Shoreis Shomim Shira Balayla V'choshos B'yom Mipnei Kvodam She'Yisrael. That's where the angels reside, the Malachei Shoreis, and at night they sing Shira, and the day they wait for us to say Shira.
But
Right?
the angels go all over, right? We just learned they're in Zvul also. Michael is an angel.
Michael
Yeah, he was
alone.
in charge of.
He's the big guy. He's got a job to bring korbanos. He's not a Malachei Shoreis.
Yeah, we're talking
He's
about
an
the guys who
archangel.
sing every night.
Well, what about the Malachim who came to visit Abraham?
Those are special, by the
So
way.
I don't know. I guess that's where they live in Ma'on. They live in Ma'on. Ma'on is where they come back to roost.
I mean, the real.
Okay.
No,
It looks like the first one is really a place for a spiritual representation of the holy places in the world, and the next one, Ma'on, is about where the angels are. They're not on the stars. We all recognize that the star heaven is not the same as angel heaven.
For sure not.
Correct.
Correct? Star heaven you can touch, or whatever it is, you can see, you can quantify. Angel heaven is a spiritual location.
Are we okay with the idea that a malach is a messenger, right? So that some of the malachim, like the one sent to Abraham, maybe just existed? No, they were sent as messenger angels for that message. After that, they disappeared altogether.
That's correct. So, but it appears that there is something called Malachei Shareis
Yeah, those are different.
that have a ongoing responsibility.
Yeah.
Now we don't know how often they're replaced and how often they are
Exactly.
replenished,
But
and
they're
whatever that
different.
means.
But they're different from the other malachim,
Right.
and it could be different.
Okay.
right?
I don't know what to say, but we're saying this every day before Kriya Shema. It's actually people sing Kiladon
Tradition,
and they
no,
don't think about it.
It's tradition. It's tradition. We have a tradition.
And
I think if we actually start
we know,
thinking
like
much,
Gabriel,
Yeah, what about him? Yeah, we know about him from Daniel.
right? Is he a Malachei Asharet?
no,
No,
he's
no.
an archangel. He's a higher.
He's a big
What
man.
does that mean?
An archangel.
No, I don't know.
Means,
Not so.
you ever hear of an archbishop? Whatever it means a bigger.
Aggressor.
Aggressor.
It means there are
It's like
there
a
are
general in the
okay,
army.
King James.
right. So there are angels are not mentioned in too many books of the Bible, right?
No,
As
no.
you know.
And when they are, they're always messengers.
Right. So they're usually nondescript. Periodically you see things, a story with Shimshon's parents, the angel appears to them. The angels that appear as nomads to Abraham.
Yes, what's his name?
Quick, but in Daniel they have the greatest names and identity of who they are. Now, Daniel's an unusual book because it takes place in Babel. And we know, and I don't mean to say anything more except to say that we know that Babel had a lot in their mythologies and their beliefs, had a lot about angelology.
Absolutely.
So there's somehow a connection between the two of them, perhaps, but of course we believe that they probably took it from Daniel. Okay.
The three who appeared to Abraham, you only know they're Malachim because the Mephoshim says.
You got it.
Like the Torah itself.
We know because it says later on when they come to Lord, Vayavo Shnei HaMalachim Stomo Ba'erev. So they're called Malachim. The word Malach means a messenger. Means a messenger all over. Right?
They had no names, they had no nothing.
Right.
They were God created them for that.
Whenever fought with when he fought with the angel, he said, "Yes, what's your name?" Because then he wants a purpose. What they're doing.
Do we have an extra chart here?
Yes. Okay.
The seven heavens now. This is the seventh heaven. And it just went
I
through
wonder if they get their name from that. Seventh heaven?
That's where it comes from. That's where this comes from. The seventh heaven is the highest heaven, right?
How many heavens?
So, but it really makes you aware that there, in the eyes of Chazal, there was this hierarchy, right? The lowest heaven is the physical heavens, the Vilon that sets the stage, the Rakia that is where the physical stars and planets are, and then everything else becomes spiritual existences. This whole idea of Rechaim that's grinding for Mun and Yerushalayim and the Beis Mikdash and Malachi Asharish, you can't find this. Okay. So where are we up to? So the Malachim are quiet in the day because of Kodem Sheisval Shenemar, as it says. Once again, everything's going to have a pasuk here. Yomam Yitzav Hashem Chasdo Ubalayla Shira Imi. In the day, Hakadosh Baruch Hu will command His kindness for me, and at night, the song of Hashem will be with me. So at night, what song is that? The song of Malachim. Right? God doesn't sing. Malach HaSharetz. In the day, I turn to God, Kadosh Baruch Hu Chesed, and at night, in the Rakia, there's the
Ma'on. This is
in the Ma'on, correct? In the Ma'on, I will have my praises to Hashem are accompanied together with the Malachim singing. The Shira is together with me. It's David HaMelech saying. David HaMelech talking about praising God. Now, Amrish Lakish, Kolosik B'Torah. Now we talk about night and day. Kolosik B'Torah B'Layla, Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe Chut Chesed Bayom. So they use the pasuk now for another drash, unrelated to the seven heavens kinds of things, and unrelated to the previous things. But if you study Torah at night, HaKadosh Baruch Hu takes His Chesed from the day and brings it at night. Shnema Yomam Yitzav Hashem Chasdo. Why? Wamatam Yom Hashem Yitzav Hashem Chasdo Mishum B'Layla Shira Imi. So some are interpreting the word here Shira. Reish Lakish interprets Shira here not as singing a Malach HaSharetz, my singing the words of Hashem, which means my studying Torah. So Kadosh Baruch Hu's Chesed and day will be extended to me if I study at night. Many Mamarim about
that occurs around on Tubab because the days become shorter, the nights lengthen on Tubab. So they say that, as we're saying here, that the secrets of Torah is night begins to get longer.
Right.
Secrets of Torah, night refers to.
Because that's true. At that point, the seasons change, and suddenly it's more night. And we need to remember that it's very difficult to study at night without fluorescence. Right. So there's a number of statements of Chazal that praise people who study Torah at night. As to be pointed out, in the winter time, when the lights are the nights are long, it's of course more commendable. There's nothing else to do. So Vika the Amrei, and there's another version of Reish Lakish's statement using the same pasuk. Once again, this doesn't have to do with the seven heavens. Reish Lakish Kol Osik B'Torah B'Ol Mazeh Shu Dom L'Layla Kadosh Baruch Hu Moshe Chalav Chut Chesed Li'Olam Haba Shu Dom L'Yom. Okay, if you study Torah in this world, which is like night, because nothing is clear, it's impure, it's hard to discern things. So in the world to come, Kadosh Baruch Hu will bring His Chesed Yishinema Yom Yitzav Hashem Chasdo B'Layla Shira Imi. Okay. And having said all that, now we're going to a little bit more excursus off the topic. Amar of Levi, Kol HaPosek Midivrei Torah, B'Osek V'Divrei Sicha. If you leave Torah studying, you talk about Sicha B'Tela means, right, idle talk. Ma'achil Noso G'chole Rusamim. How could you get fed in the world to come, or wherever the netherworld is? Coals of, what's Rasamim? Rasamim is a type of tree.
What's the time?
Fire.
Fire?
What kind of coals?
Rotem. It's a rotem bush.
Okay, a rotem bush, right?
Rosam.
A rosam bush, and apparently those keep the fire the longest. In other words,
burning.
You know what that is?
Right, so it's in other words, I don't know.
Coals made of Russell wood are especially dangerous because long after they appear to be extinguished on the
Russell
surface,
wood.
they
What's
continue
Russell
to
wood?
burn from within.
Inside
I
they burn.
heard the word because it's used as a name among Chilonim. And my wife has some mishpucha there.
Rotem.
It's called rotem. So I said, rotem, what's rotem? So I found out this is rotem.
And they use it for who?
Grow in
Yeah,
Israel.
rotem. It's an
And they
Israeli
use it
name.
for
It's an
who?
Israeli name.
I'm a cousin of my wife.
It's an Israeli name.
Kid is named
Rotem wood
Rotem.
coals are a fitting punishment for this person after it appeared that the fire of his
True.
evil inclination had been completely extinguished as he was engaged in the Torah study. The fire flared up again through his chatter and demonstrated that it was still burning actively.
Who's this?
Some person, some person.
But the person with the rotem
The
wood.
rotem. Person who gets the rotem.
Quoting from the notes.
Yes.
So where's that quoting from? Some farsh, some commentary.
It says Rashi and Midrash Socher Tov.
Okay, Shocher Tov is Medrash Antilim. Okay, so Shnemar Hakodfim Miluach. I'm not sure. Siach B'Shorish V'Samim Lachmam. So right. So this is all about. So this is the pasuk that they're quoting about this Rotem Kachalim. Now all of this is about Ma'on. We said that's where the Malachim are singing at night. Uminala the Ikre Shemaim. How do you know that this is called, that this Ma'on where the Malachim sing is also called Shemaim Shnemar? This is Devarim from Parshas Yitzami Hazinu Vayelech.
Made a song, good song.
Nitzav and Vayelech, one of those. Hashkifa Mimon Kodshecham and Hashemayim. Look down from your Ma'on Kodshechah from the heavens. You see, Ma'on is talking about God looking down. Well, Moshe is asking God to look down from this holy Ma'on from the heavens. Ma'on, period. So that's about Ma'on. Okay?
Yep.
Now we come to the next one. The sixth one is Machon. Machon shebo otzos sheleg v'otzos barad v'aliyat tlolim roim v'aliyat egolim v'charada shel sufa v'sara u'ma'ar shel kitar v'das the same age. Let's try to explain each one of these. So this is the meteorological heaven. Okay, this is where the snowstorm is coming from tomorrow. Okay, so there are otzot sheleg, storehouses of snow, otzot barad, storehouses of hail, aliyat klolim, this is where tal, dew comes from, bad dew, okay,
Bad dew.
okay, aliyat agalim, what are agalim?
Beads of water.
Beads of water.
Beads.
But this is a much higher level.
You would think that they'd be lower, but who knows?
I don't know. Okay, I don't know.
Must be like Plato's, forms.
These are basins
These
of
are
water.
forms of
But the
stuff.
truth
These are water
the
used
truth
to
is-
damage produce.
Right.
Ah,
So there's like heavy, big beads of water that come down. There's all the destructive elements, all the bad elements of,
Right, they're all up.
meteorological nature all up
There
there.
on top.
it's a good thing they don't hit them all.
Charora shel sufa, you have, or is it Chadara shel sufa. You have the room of sufa v'sara, storms and all kinds of stormy weather. Uma'ara shel kitar, and you have the cave of vapors, like fog. V'dal sosem eish. And you have, I guess, whatever fire, maybe lightning, or behind certain doors that are there. So all of this is up in the heavens and stored in this place. Shenemar, how do you know that? And there's nothing good up there, it looks like.
I was going to say, what's this next pasuk?
So, Shenemar Yiftach Hashem L'chos Otzero HaTov. So God should open up His good storehouses. Must mean that there are bad storehouses as well, which seem to all be stored there. I don't know. I'm not sure why. So we don't really have. We'll have one more in our Ravos where there is like the dew for the future world to come, but it doesn't really have the same kind of effect as, like I guess nature. I guess Chazal felt that nature was a phenomena in this world, and when nature became extreme, there had to be a reason where it came from, because normal weather patterns vary between rain and between sun. So that's a normal cycle. When suddenly you're involved in a serious storm, you say, where'd this come from, right? What happened? Or thick fog, or dew that suddenly ruins things, or beads of water, or barad. So I guess they felt this comes from another heaven. Why is this higher? I don't know. It seems to be destructive.
But you wonder why too.
Okay.
I mean, again, what's the pasuk? Before it said Hashkiva mimon kachachamina shamayim, right? As I said, they made a song out of it. I don't know if the next words in the Tanakh are actually Ubarech et Amcha.
Right.
So if he's looking for on the Barech et Amcha, why would they put all these bad things there? You wonder.
I don't know. And the truth is, all of the items in each of these locations, there is no pasuk to support it. The only support that we're bringing is there's a support to say that Ma'on is Shemayim. Or we're going to have to say there's a pasuk that says Machon is Shemayim, right in heavens. But what is in these items, or what is in these locations, is all this kind of tradition that they pass along.
Right. Okay.
So I have a piece I want to do with you. I'm not sure I understand fully, but we'll try to go through some of it. And you're right. It doesn't really bring a support for any bad location. Right. It just has the Otzra Tov. Now, so the Gemara asks the question: Hani berkias nahu, hani be'arus nahu. What do you tell me? These things are up in the heavens. They're down here. Dichsiv, and here's a psukim that you should recognize. Haluas Hashem in the Aretz, praise Hashem from the land. Taninim. Okay, we know what taninim are, right? Serpents. V'chol tahom simas. V'chol tahomos. V'chol tahomos eish ubara. Actually, we don't recognize the pasuk. V'chol tahomos eish ubara sheli v'kito. Yes, you do. Ruach sara osed varo. So all these things are giving praise to Hashem. It's the David Melech writes in one of the last chapters of Tehillim. We say it in Pesukei Zimra. So eish and bara, sheli, kitor is steam, ruach, sara, osed. Everything is doing the will of God. Where min Hashem min haaretz. So how is this really coming up from how's it coming down from heaven? So I'm Rabbi Yehuda, I'm a Rav. David bikesh lehem rachmim v'horidam la'aretz. So David asked for mercy. I'm not sure of mercy from whom. On these items, or on Machon, or on the heavens, and these things were brought down here. Maybe they're not as powerful. If they're temporal in this world, their BAYT has been taken away. So Amal Afanov, he said, Ribono Shalom, is what David says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Lo kel chafetz rashata, lo yegurcha bimgurcha ra. Tzadik ato Hashem lo yagur bimgurcha ra. The pasuk says you're not a God who wants resha. You don't live with ra. Ato lo yagurcha ra. So David said to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you don't want to have all this ra stuff up there. Right. Send it down. And that's where it is. So by the time David finished Tehillim, the beginning of Tehillim, he says to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Perkei, you're not a God who wants bad. By the end of Tehillim, he says, all the bad stuff you got up there, send downstairs. What replaced it, we don't know.
No, but Hashem shouldn't be living with all this bad stuff, right? What he's saying.
Okay. So, but we don't know what went in its place. How do you know that this is called heaven? What's called heaven? Machon. Okay, so this actually is Shlomo. This is when Shlomo also makes Mikdash. So that's so you see Machon is also is where Kadosh Baruch Hu lives. So Machon is the sixth heaven of Shemayim of Hashem. Now the last is Aravos, not to be confused with willows. I'm sorry.
Plains.
Okay.
Plains.
Okay.
Arava.
Avat Moav.
Right, like the Arava area of Israel.
The Arava is the center, right?
It's flat. Yes, the Arava is flat. You get the hills, Hare Yehuda, Hare Yerushalayim.
Jordan Valley.
No, then you have Bikat HaYarden on the east. On the west, as you go to the sea, is called the Arava.
Oh, Arava is the south, okay, by the sea, okay.
Not the south, the west,
the west
whole
by the
plain,
sea.
where
I
it
was
gets
mixing
flat.
up, okay, I was mixing up something
Okay.
else.
Where Moshe did.
Arvot Moab is the plains of Moab.
Plains
Yeah,
of Moab,
where
on
he
the
did
other
his
side.
thing.
Right. So you
Okay,
get the
okay.
feeling in plains of Moab that it's flat but it's high. The Arava area of Israel is flat and low.
No, but I think maybe because the mountains in Yarden on the other side, they're not right at the edge. I think they're a little bit further back. So I think maybe in the middle, like the flat part beside the Yarden is
So what's the center
Arava.
part of the Jordan Valley?
Bikat HaYarden. It's a
We
bikat.
call it the Bikat
No,
Yarden.
but in the Chumash it doesn't call it that. In Yeshayftim it calls it, isn't it called Arava? I mixed up.
I think
Maybe.
because the Arava,
It's flat.
where was Moshe was in Arvot Moab when he stood opposite Yericho, right?
I can't
He's
remember.
on the
So
shore.
he's flat.
I think he's
Yeah,
on
okay,
the flat
fine, okay.
land.
We have flat land that comes off the sea. We have these mountains that were pushed up that goes down again. This is the Afro-Syrian rift for the earthquakes.
Yeah.
And then it goes up again the other side where it shakes. That's where the Jordan Valley is.
Yeah.
So at any rate, this is Aravot. This is the highest of the high. Shabbat, what's up in Arava? So this is Aravot. This is where the good stuff is. Shabbat Tzedek, Mishpat, Tzedakah, all, I guess, justice and more justice and tzedakah, and Beginze Chaim, Beginze Shalom, the storehouse of Chaim and Shalom and Ginze Bracha, and the Shmasam Shel Tzadikim. You want to know where you're going to go? You're going to Arava, okay? Aravos. Mitzvah. Veruchos, and all the spirits. I'm not sure what the Ruchos are different than Neshamos. But Neshamos She'asid Li Baros. Or maybe Ruchos for Neshamos She'asid Li Baros. This is where HaKadosh Baruch Hu keeps the future souls, the storehouses. V'tal She'asid HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Achios B'Meisim. The dew that God will use to revive the dead.
I didn't know he was going to use tal, but it's good to know.
Yeah. Now, and this one, they try to get specific about each of the items. Tzedek u'mishpat. How do you know Tzedek u'mishpat is up there? So it's not so clear. Tzedek u'mishpat machon kisecha. Okay, now it's got it in machon, not in Aravos.
Sounds like it's
I guess it's close enough. Okay. Tzedakah dichsiv vayal beish tzedakah kisarim. I'm sure.
Kashirion.
Kashirion.
Spells it here. That's
Okay, kashirion is I guess like armor.
Armor.
Yes,
It's
right.
armor. Yeah.
So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is protected with by tzedakah. Ginze Chaim Shen Dechsev. So all of these are going to really put all of them around the Shem. Kimka Makor Chaim. You have the source of life. Ginze Shalom. This the Geniza of Shalom Dechsev. Vaikwalo Hashem Shalom. Who says this? This is, I guess, called Hashem Shalom.
1968. Judges 6:24.
Right. One of the judges.
Gidon.
Gidon, thank you. The Ginze Bracha, the Gniza Bracha, the Chsiv, Yisa Bracha Meis Hashem. That's a pasuk you recognize. So the Bracha comes from Hashem. The Shmashon Sel Tzadikim, the Chsiv, V'haisa Nefesh Adoni Tzrura B'tzrua Chaim, Es Hashem Elokecha. Okay? So, who is this? This is also Sefer Shmuel, I think. So Ruchos Neshamos Shasli Libaros Dechsev Ki Ruach Milafona Yatov V'Neshamos Ani Sisi or Siti. So the Ruchos come from before me or envelop me, and I made the Neshamos. The Tal Shasi HaKadosh Baruch Hu L'Achios B'Meisim, this dude that HaKadosh Baruch Hu bring back the dead. Dechsev Geshem Nedavos Tanif Elokim Nachlasecha V'Nila Ata Konanta Sham Konanta. Okay, so that's period. So that's about, what is this referring to? The Tal. I guess Geshem the Davos, the rain that comes as of its own, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to bring for your Nachla and Benilata Konanto. So I'm not sure I know exactly the translation. Okay?
A generous rain did you lavish, O God, when your heritage was weary, you established it firmly.
So HaKadosh Baruch Hu is going to reestablish his heritage in the time of Tchias HaMeisim. He'll do so with the water of the Tal, of the rain of the Tal.
Bnei Yisrael are often called Nachala. His Nachala.
It's Nachala.
Right, true.
True.
Right. So this is all. So this is what we have up there, And we're not finished yet.
No.
Okay. Sham ofanim usrafim v'chayos hakodesh u'maloche hashares v'kisei hakavod melakel v'ram v'nisa shochein aleihem ba'aravot. Okay, so somehow we got the malach hashares got also put into aravos.
Maybe they sing in one place and
maybe they live in one place and they visit in another. I don't know. Maybe they're different groups. So this is the highest heaven. We have all kinds of angels, right? We have the Ophanim, which are these, I don't know, these rolling angels, circle angels.
Yeah, the ones that Yecheskel saw. Those are the ones with the wheels.
We're talking about Masa Merkava.
Yes, correct. That's right. That's what
the Seraphim are a different group.
Misrafim and the burning angels, Chayos HaKodesh, Malach HaShares, and Kisei HaKavod, the throne of God, Melech Kel Chai Ram V'nisa Shochen Aleim. The God who sits on high and mighty says,
Ba'aravot, it says.
Shochen Aleim Ba'aravot. Shenemar, Solu L'roche Ba'aravot B'kah Shemo. Okay. So, make a path for the one who rides in the Aravot, because his name is, in God is his name. Okay. Minale deikre shamayim. Again, how do you know that Aravos is in the heaven? So it's a little bit complicated here. Asya rechiva. So we make a gzera shav, everything like it's all drushes, okay? The ksiv hacha, solu larochiv ba'aravos. That's the pasuk they quoted before from Tehillim. Ksiv hasam rochiv shamayim bi'ezreka. So you've got rochiv coming up in both places. In one place, rochiv is ba'aravos, and one is rochiv in shamayim. Must be that Aravos is in the Shemayim. He's riding in the same place.
Yeah. Shemayim is maybe a generic term
this
for
is
the whole
interesting.
thing.
The Gemara explains that the seven heavens are seven barriers between us and God, one above the other, that a person must pass through in his spiritual growth. They correspond to the 8 verbs at the beginning of the Yalla V'Yavo prayer, said in the Amida on Rosh Chodesh and festivals. The last 2 verbs are counted as 1. This explanation in the Gemara is printed at the beginning of Hilchos Rosh Chodesh and Shulchan Aruch, and it's expanded upon by Rav Dressler and Mechtav Eliyahu.
Right. Okay, so actually I have a little piece of Mechtav Eliyahu here. Okay, we'll try to go through some of it. I don't know if we'll be successful.
Somebody doesn't the Mabish have 7 spheres?
That's different.
So that's different. That's different. That's very different. That's this is about 7 heavens. It's not 7 spheros.
That's Kabbalah.
Right. This actually is all. This is also Kabbalah.
Oh.
I mean,
Okay.
we are dabbling into some serious stuff. That this whole next Talmud is going to be dealing with pieces from the first chapter of Yecheskel. It's almost like a piece of Zohar got thrown in here, right? No.
There are some theories that the Zohar was written at approximately the same time.
Correct. The traditional view is that the Zohar was written by Rabbi Yochanan of Shimon Bar Yochai.
Forgery.
Okay. The less traditional view is it was written in the Middle Ages.
Yeah,
Or the non-traditional view.
Barrel Wine. Barrel Wine is a thing on YouTube.
Yeah.
What did Beryl Wine say?
Barrel Wine says that.
What's his name? The rabbi in the 13th century?
No, he said it was written in the 12th century by Moshe de Leon.
Yeah, right.
And then he says, who says? He says Chaim Sofer said it was a forgery, and also someone else.
But the Leon's is a forgery.
Yeah. I forget, some other Rav, I can't remember the name, it'll come to me. And the fellow's wife, Moshe de Leon, said he wrote it.
Okay. So what's very clear is, regardless of where the Zohar, when the Zohar was written, Kabbalah is an ancient study.
Yeah,
We have there are svarim that go back to the time of the Gemara, such as Sefer Yetzirah, Sefer Chalot, that were studied, that we know are existent. So
I'm not saying it's not a Kabbalah sefer. I'm just saying it wasn't wrote by Shimon Bar Yochai. That's all. I'm not saying it doesn't have validity. It's just people give it extra validity that maybe it doesn't have. That's all I'm saying.
There we go. Okay, so okay.
But Shimon Bar Yochai, you got to admit, it's a good study.
Okay, so where we up to? So we have the Gzer Shava Rocha Baravos Rocha B'Shaim Bezreka. Now we're still hung up on the this is the Aravos. V'choshech v'anan v'arafal makifin oso. Okay, that surrounding all of this good stuff is this darkness and this cloud and this thick darkness. Shnemar yoshes choshech sisro svivosav sukaso cheshkas maim ove shchakim. Okay. so that there is this choshech which hides, which is all around it, and it's thick around the shchakim around the, I guess, where the kisei hakavod is.
Like we had the shchakim before; they were only the third heaven, so.
Right. Correct. So, but I guess it's all connected together. So maybe around all the heavens. I think it means around the highest heaven.
God's
means it's imperceptible.
being shrouded in darkness is a metaphor for the inability of corporeal structures such as ourselves to perceive Him with clarity.
Fair enough.
Right. Okay. So, at any rate, now we're going to start talking about darkness in a minute. So maybe we'll take a look at this piece from Michtav Eliyahu, which I don't know that I fully understand. So I'm doing this tentatively. Okay.
Right, there's always the assumption that the writer understood it.
And he bases this on the Gra, right?
He's basing this on the Gra, correct? Okay.
I can't bring that book, the Shetler and the King.
Correct. And probably if I had time, I'd probably may be able to find it in Michtav Eliyahu.
This is Rav Dessler?
This is Rav Dessler, correct. If you look on the bottom, this is actually taken from a book that's quoting it, so it's a tertiary source, but I believe he's quoting the Lashon of the Michtav Eliyahu. If you look at the very last line, it says Michtav Eliyahu Chelik Gimel, page 011. I'm not sure if it's 011 or 110, Al Pi Agra. Okay, so, but however we go through this, it makes it very clear that this is very deep material, and as a result, much of it may be symbolic. So, if you can't figure out what it means, why there is all these funny things that we can't see and we can't feel, it may be as much related to symbols for us as it is to actual, spiritual values that have an impact upon us. Okay, so Shivas Rakia him Sheva Mechitzos Ruchani Zulam Alazu Osan Tzarach Adam Lavod Baliato HaRuchanit Bavodas Hashem. You got to go up these 7 different levels. Uknegdam Sheva Lashono Shabakasha Bial V'Yavo Shetalet Tfilah Seno V'Tikunes Lefnim Mikol Osan HaMechitzos. So all of this Yal V'Yavo is V'Yivkol, V'Yizkar, and so forth. And here they are. So what the first one, Vilon. Here mechitza rishona hamavdalah beinenu lebein Hashem yisborach. Okay, this is the first separation between us and God. U'keneged reishis ha'avoda ruchanit shel ha'adam l'shtokek la'alot. So the first thing to kind of break through the barrier is to want to go up, right? And that's the first one, which is of course equal to Ya'aleh, Zeh Aliyah Rishona. Okay, the next one, Rakia hu hamavdil bein mayim l'mayim. We know that's in the Torah. So the Rakia, which has in it the sun and the moon, it separates between the body and soul. Bo Mesifta, the Rakia, Shelah never Shava Achar Hi Pardo Me'aguf. I guess that's where the neshama goes after it separates from the body. Avodat Adam HaShayech LeMechitza Zu L'Saleket HaGufaniot HaChotzetzet, to remove the physicality that separates. Bashiva Libo Shekol Yonei Aguf Einam Ela Kelim Lavodas Hashem. So remember that we simply have this armor, this body that we need to turn to serve God, not to separate us. Zeh Shalom Avakshim Yaleh V'Yavo Kirachsiv Baruch Haba. So that was the second one. That is Rakia. The third one is Shchakim. That's where the grinding was going on for the Mon. So it's not really about tzaddikim and Mon. It's really a symbolism for people who benefit from how they work to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in this world. You can taste different things that you wanted in the Mon, like whatever you used to. The more you work, the more HaKadosh Baruch Hu reveals himself to you, and Zehu Bechinat V'Yagia, Yalev Yavo V'Yagia, and Yagia, he says, is a reference for Yigia, working, okay, not reaching. I guess they're cognates. If you work hard, you reach something, okay? So we have, now the next one becomes Vilon Rakesh Chakim. Now we don't see Zvul for some reason.
Zvul's down there.
Zvul's further down. Yes.
Okay, so he flips them around. So okay, Ma'on. So the next one he has after Zvul, he has Ma'on, which is number 5, but he puts it in number 4. Oh, actually, he puts in the parentheses. Hagra gores ma'on lefnei zvul. Okay, they go out a different order. So Sham, what did we have in Ma'on? We had the Malach HaShoris in Ma'on. Sham hiya makor habracha, k'mod shakasav, hashkifa memon kot shecham and hashemaim uvoreches amacha Yisrael. Shemimakom shabo mavarches amo, sham ma'ono v'kor rucho. So this is the place of the blessing of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's where God wants to reside. U'knusach habracha, shasimcha v'mono. U'ba b'mida sh'anu megalim v'rolim elakuso, the way we try to reveal ourselves to find HaKadosh Baruch Hu, to see God, God brings His bracha to us. Kamo shedarshu yalav yavav yagia v'yera'eh, to be seen. We had the drasha early in this masechta, yireh and yera'eh, right? Mm-hmm. You have to be when there's drasha. Can a blind person do aliyah, right? And you have to see and be seen. So the drush is yer and yerah. So yerah means to be seen, to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu, look for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'avodat hadam b'madrigan nalazu hulechavin masav l'tzarach k'vov lo tzarach atzmo. You've got to raise what you're doing for a higher level, not for yourself. Hainu lakel al tzara shchina kaviyachol, to reduce the tsar of the shchina. Shlo yakvenu masenu milashpil lav shefa bracha. That we shouldn't, our acts, which can be bad, can be physical, shouldn't reduce and have an impact upon God's bracha and shefa that comes from K'moshe tachtonim tzrichim lo yonim kacho yonim tzrichim la tachtonim. Same way we need, the people below need God, so God needs us. Avodah zu makor habracha v'zeh shanam v'achshim v'yera'eh. So we want to appear more. The more we appear to God, the more God's blessing comes to us. Now we get Zgul. This is our number 4, which is Yerushalayim in the Beis HaMikdash. Sham Yerushalayim Shamala Beis HaMikdash Mizbech Monoy Michal Sar Gadol Made Umakriv Alav Karban V'Kasva Tosfos. What's the carbon he's bringing? Shemakriv Alav Nishmosem Shel Tzadikim. What is he? He brings the souls of tzaddikim. V'hi avodat haratzon v'cheshek l'mesirat nefesh b'avodato yisborach. So the supreme service of God is when you put your life on the line. Ukfi midat hismas hit masruseno bavodav v'godel rotzaneino kach midas ritzoni yisborach bano v'ritzui karbonoseno. So in other words, the more that we dedicate ourselves completely to Hashem, it bounces back because the Baruch Hu dedicates Himself to us. So the Karban is the ultimate dedication to Hashem, is Kiddush Hashem, and that's why it's called V'yei Ratzeh. We make God.
We're offering our neshama as an offering.
Right. So in other words, it's really all about the symbolism of how much you're going to put on the line for your own body, your own soul. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we come to Machon. Machon was the place where all the bad stuff was. Right? Rain, tal, what else was there? Sheleg, Barak. Makom Hashmiya v'Kabbalah Nachon El b'Machon Shifto. I guess the place where all this is accepted. K'moshe Kosev Yatot Tishma Min Hashamayim Machon Shiftecha. It's actually a pasuk they bring. Machon Perusho Kviyut. So Machon, it says, is set. Like we have set ways that we settle ourselves down in our ruchnis. So too is the value of our listening and hearing and reaching. The same way that we can hear God's voice in our life, so God hears our tefillos. So therefore it's called Yalev Yavov Yagiv V'Yerev V'Yishama. Okay, now the 7th one is Aravot. This is the highest heaven. Arakia ha'yom b'yoter shebo otzar neshamos uvavodas adam dveikus gemura b'shoresh haviyosenu. This is ultimate connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu in our existence. B'chinas avodas l'shma b'ofen hator b'yoter. We're serving God for no ulterior benefit. L'shma. In the most purest way. The neshama is, I guess, the way that we're remembered, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu remembers Amasim. Kirish me Amasim nikbaim b'neshama. The impact of our acts are set in our soul. B'kach nevchenet ha'emes ha'muchletet shel ha'lishma tahar. And this is the truth, the ultimate truth of doing it ultimately. Lishma is set up, and Zohi has a chir of apakida shel amasim. This is why this is called remembering and being remembered. It says v'yizocher v'yipokei. He manages to put v'yizocher v'yipokei, 2 of them together in number 7. Harei lefanenu sheva madrigot bavoda min ha'tshukah rishona l'aliyah ad l'dveikut hagmura. So this is these 7 levels are about trying to reach HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and each of the 7 heavens are really simple. Different 7 heavens are a different level in trying to come close to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The closer we come to Hashem, the more HaKadosh Baruch Hu appears to us in this world. So I think we've got a good gist of it. Okay, right? Can't say we understood every word, but 90%.
Next
Okay?
time you say Yalav Yavo.
Never say Yalav Yavo. You remember this Gemara.
So the actual derivation of Yalav Yavo is from the Gra. Like I assume the author of the Yalav Yavo.
Before that, isn't it?
I believe Yalav Yavo probably comes from our time, from the time of the Gemara. No, I don't know.
Well, for the davening, no, around.
Yeah,
the
but I
same-
don't know.
Oh, it could have been added later.
I don't know.
Look in the article.
So I think the Gra is trying to say that there's a hidden meaning behind Yalav Yavo.
Yeah,
Right.
clearly.
Right. And the Gra is taking this Gemara and tapping it into that that piece.
I have a book, Shimon Schwab, on prayer. Maybe you probably
maybe.
Oh,
have it.
I have a book on prayer, so I can look it up if you want.
Shimon Schwab on prayer.
When did the Gra live? This is way long.
Right? Because this is...
Yizacher, Yipakev, Zechoneh,
Yeah,
Chazeno,
because we don't have the korbanos, so...
Maybe it could be.
I believe the Gra was 1100.
The Gra is
No,
1700s.
1700.
Oh, Yalav Yavo.
No, a couple of years ago.
So the Gra was known for very clever kinds of connections. And you, by the way, if you don't understand the Gra, you can still say Yalav Yavo.
Absolutely.
Right?
A lot of
It
things
clearly talks about elevation. All the Gra's finish here is that the 7 elevations that Yalav Yalav talk about, or the 8, which the Yizacher Yipokei they puts two together, are really the behind the 7 different heavens, which we understand that a heaven is about elevation. And the key to the Gra, the key to the Gra really saying is don't accept this Gemara literally,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
right?
The same is true with, as I said, I have this book, The Juggler and the King, which is an explanation, the Gra's explanation for a number of the Agadas in Bechoros,
Right.
and things like that. It goes into detail. What did the Gra actually mean on these? Because he wrote very cryptically too.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
You know, like Rashi. You can't.
Or you get the feeling he wrote like notes.
Well, the Gra wrote very different.
Right.
Almost everything we have was from his students.
Right, or notes that they found that they then tried to build on.
But
Right?
this particular one is very nice.
Right.
This is really clear.
So this is nice.
Well,
and,
a lot of this is Rav Dessler
building on the Gra.
building.
so I don't know where the Gra is found, and I don't know exactly what the Gra said, but Rav Dessler makes it clearly readable. Right?
Very much. Yeah.
But once again, it shows you the depth and complexity of a piece of Agadata that we went through and said, wow, we're going to find this, what kind of heaven is this? And suddenly you see that there's a whole different layers trying to explain this for us, and there's a message here as well. So what we start out by saying, it doesn't speak to us, right? If you accept Rav Dessler's reading of the Gra, and the Gra's reading of the Gemara, really speaks very directly to us in real ways.
Yeah.
So there's a challenge in trying to keep going. It's not just one hurdle, not just one heaven. Got to keep going and building yourself up. Okay. Okay, maybe we'll go a little further. We got about 5 minutes or so. Okay, good. All right. So the last thing we finished the 7th heaven. We said it was shrouded by darkness. Right. And the Gemara has a question on the bottom of the page. This is the last line, or 2 words from the second last line. Umi ika chashucha kamishmaya. Is there darkness in the heavens? And we think of whatever we think of heaven. It's not physical. It's not dark and light. We think of light as being something very good and dark being something very bad. So how could there be darkness in the heavens? It makes no sense. Bachsiv, who? This is from Daniel. So it's in the Daniel part of the Daniel that we had. It's written in the Aramaic. Who gala amikta umistarta yada masha b'chashocha unahora ime share. So he appears amikta umistarta, hidden and deep. Yada masha b'chashocha. God knows what's in darkness. V'nahora ime share, and light is with him. He is shari. He is living or exists together with the light. So you see, from Daniel's vision, they're referring to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. God is with the light. He knows what's in the darkness. He recognizes darkness, but it's not God. So how can darkness surround the Almighty? So the Gemara says, Lo kasha, ha b'batei gavai, ha b'batei barai. Okay, so there are, this is even more hard to understand, right? There is an internal dwelling of God, and then there is an external dwelling of God. So you have holy, holy, holies and super holies. So in the internal, Gavoy is inside. In the inner house, it's bright. In the outer house, these are of course anthropomorphisms, it can be dark. So you're right, with God, where God actually is, of course you're going to see God is everywhere, yes, yes, yes. But in the visions here that we're talking about, God has a habitat, has a dwelling. In the actual dwelling of Hashem, there's only light. Right, but in the secondary parts, there's going to be darkness. Okay.
He translates here, he says, "B'baytim pnimiyim yesh rak or, al yesh choshech svivo." I guess it's around them or somewhere.
Right, correct.
Darkness.
So, but in other words, this is like an outer barrier around the Kadosh Baruch Hu. So Kadosh Baruch Hu, as if to say, is surrounded by light, but outside that may be some darkness.
Is this our only source for there being 7 heavens? Because the concept of 7 heavens is like in popular...
The Greeks must have had that also.
And I know that the Muslims, they have this notion of the seven heavens.
So Shiva, I'm sure if we do a search of Shiva's Rakia, we'll find more than this Gemara. This may be the most specific and detailed explanation of what they are.
So where do the Goyim pick up on 7 heaven? Because from Gemara.
I don't know from this Gemara. I believe there are other places where it talks about Shiva's Rakia. So Shiva Rakia.
I think they even thought that like the planet, there are 5 visible planets, I guess, to the naked eye, and they must have moved on some kind of a moving sphere.
I don't know.
For sure.
But I'm not sure that people who talk about 7 heavens can identify what each one is.
No, that's a whole different story.
But I mean, you find like in music, popular songs, they don't. I mean, 7 heaven.
7 heaven,
So my suspicion is we can go back and look that if we did a search on a concordance, so you went into a search engine, you could find the term Shiva Rakias in various midrashim as well. I don't believe any of them are as specific as this piece here, because this piece is very Kabbalistic. This whole piece of Gemara is very Kabbalistic. I mean, look, Kabbalah basically is the language about God. Right? Torah is language about Torah. Gemara is language about Torah, but this is really about the language of God. Okay, so at any rate, this takes us probably to a good point where we can kind of stop, or take a breath at least, or land back on Earth for a week, because it's going to actually get back into this. You can see it's going to talk about the Cheskel and so forth. And as you see, you thought there were 7 heavens. According to Gemara, there might even be an 8th. Okay?
Now you're done.